Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Lisa Montgomery, the only female inmate on federal death row in the US, has been executed for murder. She received a lethal injection at a prison in Terre Haute, Indiana, after a last-minute stay of execution was lifted by the US Supreme Court. The case attracted attention because her lawyers argued she was severely mentally ill and had suffered serious abuse as a child. A coronavirus vaccine developed by Chinese company Sinovac has been found to be 50.4% effective in Brazilian clinical trials. That's according to the latest results released by researchers. The Brazilian research shows the vaccine is significantly less effective than previous data suggested, barely over the 50% needed for regulatory approval. The Chinese vaccine is one of two that the Brazilian government has lined up. Several other countries, including Indonesia, Turkey and Singapore, have placed orders for the Sinovac vaccine. Hundreds of alleged members of Italy's most powerful Mafia group are set to face justice in the country's biggest organised crime trial in decades. The 355 suspected mobsters and corrupt officials were charged following a long inquiry into the 'Ndrangheta group. More than 900 witnesses are expected to give evidence, and the charge sheet includes murder, drug trafficking, extortion and money laundering. The trial is expected to last more than 2 years and is taking place in a specifically modified building converted into a fortified courtroom to make space for the hundreds of people likely to attend the proceedings. An Irish government-commissioned report has found that thousands of infants and children died in homes for unmarried mothers run by the Catholic Church across Ireland between the 1920s and the 1990s. The inquiry found an appalling mortality rate that reflected brutal living conditions at homes, where 56,000 young pregnant women, including rape victims, were hidden away from society. Anonymous testimony from residents compared the institutions to prisons, saying they were often verbally abused by nuns. Women suffered through traumatic labours without any pain relief, and babies were reportedly not cared for. Surviving infants were taken from mothers and sent overseas to be adopted. Around 9,000 children died in all, according to the report. Prime Minister Michael Martin is expected to make a formal apology in Parliament this week. Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny says he will return to Russia months after he was poisoned in Siberia and sent to Germany for treatment. In a message published on Instagram, Mr. Navalny said, "Russia is my country, Moscow is my city, and I miss it." The opposition campaigner collapsed on an internal flight last August, and later emerged he had been poisoned with a Novichok nerve agent. Investigative journalists say Russian intelligence carried out the attack, but Russian authorities have consistently denied any role in the poisoning, rejecting claims that President Vladimir Putin ordered it himself. There's mystery surrounding piles of dead fish washing ashore at Lake Victoria in Uganda without a clear cause. Uganda's Ministry of Agriculture has said that a usual phenomenon caused by hypoxia may have led to the deaths, although fishermen in the area have told officials the death rate was much higher than in the past. The Ministry of Agriculture has ruled out poisoning, saying only the Nile perch species have been affected by the phenomenon. And finally, worms from the ground may soon find their way into Europe's pasta bowls and dinner dishes after becoming the first insect to be approved in the region as a human food. The decision by the European Food Safety Agency paves the way for the yellow grubs to be used whole and dried in curries and other recipes, and as a flour to make biscuits, pasta and bread. Rich in protein, fat and fibre, they are likely to be the first of many insects to feature on Europeans' plates in the coming years.
I'm already having my lunch.
However, overcoming the yuck factor may take time. Some sociologists believe psychological barriers, particularly strong in Europe, mean it will be some time before the yellow worms start flying off supermarket shelves here. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.